Having spent the past 2 weeks focused on preparing our business for the coming challenge and speaking to many others on the same subject, I generally feel industry is prepared as well as it can, and it's time to lock things down harder than they have been. I say this to help the authorities understand that they have increasing latitude to act decisively and creatively to counter the virus and avoid the worst. Overreaction by government is the least of most people's fears right now. This is the time to pull the lever, not just to reduce the potential peak in the health impacts, but because that will also have longer-term economic benefits by getting us out of this sooner and in better shape than if the crisis overwhelms us. I believe we were right not to panic, but we're ready to act, and government should lead in action, in part with what they do with their own staff and agencies, and, most importantly, clearly stating policies that protect people and business. I'm buoyed that there's a likelihood that rent and loan repayments for commercial and residential tenants and borrowers may be guaranteed or otherwise temporarily put on hold for those in hardship. I'm a fan of the Suspend the Rent campaign led by a major South Australian property owner and landlord, further underscoring my view that business has an appetite for temporary measures that might otherwise be considered too interventionist in normal times. Similar efforts around income guarantees are also important. The news at the weekend regarding this was positive, and I expect that there's more to come. Policy on the run can be messy, but it is necessary. We can deal with the aftermath later. Genuine business leaders understand that handouts are there for survival and not to bolster profits at the expense of others. Those who think they can rip off the economy or rip off the community at this time ought to know that it will cost them in the long run. Generous policy will be costly in the short term, but it will save lives and ultimately reduce economic hardship in the longer term. The more people who can stay at home safely right now, the better off we are as a whole community. If business can safely shut down unnecessary operations that involve significant public interaction, that is the best option. Most of the measures regarding shutting down certain workplaces and public spaces reflect our view. As for the schools, that's where the state can be creative, asking for those families who can afford to withdraw their children from physically attending school will reduce the chance of the virus spreading. Avoiding pressure on parents who both work, parents in essential services, or families where grandparents are expected to be babysitters or guardians is important. In fact, this is a chance for teachers to be heroes too. Of course it ought to be voluntary, but to me there's some sense in asking for a skeleton staff of teachers or specialist volunteers to manage a much reduced cohort to not just finish the term, but potentially through the holidays too. It might sound like babysitting, but it is crucial right now. If we all put our shoulders to the wheel and do the best we can see this through to the other side. Thank you.